Welcome to Car Guy Fridays, where today we're going to bring you a review of the smallest car you've ever seen. Today, we have a 1994 Suzuki Alto Works RSX JDM Kei Car, and over here, a USDM male, the owner, Dustin. Tell me a little bit about this car.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. It's a 94 Suzuki Alto Works RSX. As he said, it is a Kei car, meaning that in Japan they have very strict parking limitations. Well, downtown Japan, strict parking limitations, tax regulation, all that stuff. So what a Kei car is it is a maximum of 660cc engine. It has dimensional regulations. I believe they can only be a little over 4 foot wide and I think around 8 feet long. So basically, once you have a car that fits into those regulations, you get a better tax stamp and it's cheap parking. So people buy these because they're great city cars. It's kind of what the Kei car mentality is all about.
The reason cars like this exist is because in Japan, the population density is so high. It's a much smaller country than the US. And with a car like this, you can park it pretty much anywhere. What do these make from the factory? Like, how much power does a 660cc motor,
Yes.
with a tiny little turbo, like, what kind of power are they putting out?
I believe a Kei car regulation on power, it's weird. It's like, I think it's either 60 or 66 horsepower. I don't remember the figure off the top of my head, but they are government limited on power. Some people say Suzuki rated them low, as many Japanese companies have done. They like to rate the cars low with the gentleman agreement. Being it's a Kei car, I don't know if the gentleman agreement would even have really necessitated being there since they don't make power. This car does not feel like it's got 60 horsepower. I'm going to say it's somewhere up around 100, hopefully 100 crank. If I could put down 100 wheel horsepower in this car, I would be very happy.
What are you, stupid?
Now, what's this car weigh?
Car weighs a little over 1,400 pounds. With me in it, it's more than that.
I'm assuming this thing's not bone stock.
It's not.
So what all is done to it? And are there maybe some things that are done to it that we don't know about?
So when I got the car, the gentleman I bought it from, a really nice guy, he didn't really know any kind of aftermarket on the car. He just knew that it was an Alto Works. So I got it. It felt fast. It had an aftermarket boost controller. I started poking my head under the dash. I found an aftermarket Paul Sports ECU. It's a brand I can't find much about. It's a Japanese only brand. So I started messing with it. I turned the boost way down. He had it on like 25 pounds. It consistently hit fuel cut. It ran like crap. So I turned the boost down, started looking around a little bit more. It had lowering springs on it already. They're RSR Sport lowering springs. It rides pretty well. It looks like some kind of aftermarket shock. But as far as what I've done to it, had a boost controller issue probably 3 or 4 months ago. I fixed that by putting a new boost controller on it. So it's got a GFB Go Fast Bids controller on it now. I took it to a local company called Bluegrass Muffler, and they did a full 2.5-inch stainless from the cat back. Then while I was in there, they added an O2 bung, so it's got a AEM AFR gauge on it. It's got AEM oil pressure and temp gauges, just kind of monitoring things. It's a really high-strung car, and I didn't want to have weird oil pressure issues. Aside from that, it's aftermarket steering wheel. Not really a whole lot done to it yet.
You know, as far as this engine goes, it's a 3-cylinder, right?
Yes.
660cc.
Yeah.
What's it redline at? Like,
factory redline shows 8,500. The tack will go to 12. There's no point having it that high. I think it would probably spin to pieces if it was that high. But I've personally had it at 11 once by accident, and then pretty typically it goes about 10.5.
Does it have a rev limiter? Like, does it stop you, or does it just let you just keep going?
To my knowledge, it'll let me keep going, but I'm not willing to try it.
I love that there's no rev limiter on it. It's just like, well, here you go.
Yeah,
like,
it just goes and goes and goes. And it doesn't sound like it goes because it's only got 3 cylinders. So when you're driving around at 7,000 RPM, it kind of sounds like you're putting, but you're kind of ringing it out.
How much boost are you running on this thing right now? I know you said it was at 25.
Yes.
And now, typically, I'm assuming these stock turbos don't really want to hold boost.
No.
You know, so I'm thinking like maybe 1 bar.
Yeah.
But this one holds boost, which leads to the question of, is this turbo modified? And that's one of the things when you're getting a car from Japan, you don't really know. Like this ECU, like that's very telling to me.
Yeah.
If it has an aftermarket ECU, to me, that means, gee, what else is done to it?
Typically, as he said, they're around 1 bar, but it's actually less than that. It's about 10 PSI in a factory tune. When people turn these up, they usually turn them up to around 1 to 1.2 bar. So this car being on anywhere between 18 PSI to 20 PSI on a good, cool day, it's a lot of boost. Nobody says these cars should hold that kind of boost and make power still, but this car does very well. I don't know if this
on a dyno.
It needs to be on a dyno.
But the hard thing is when you dyno a Kei car, is finding a dyno that it fits on.
Yes.
Because it's just so small. Like, will this fit on a normal dyno jet? I mean, is that something that...
I've had this car on an alignment rack. It takes 2 people to get on an alignment rack. The wheelbase is very short. It's really more of how narrow the track width is. The track width is so narrow that you almost have the tires hanging on the inside of the alignment racks. And so on a dyno, I'm just not really even sure if it would fit.
This is a 15 by 6.5 wheel. It's a raised Artisan Spirit. Very period correct wheel for this car. And what's interesting is it's such a small wheel, but yet it looks so big on this car because everything else is so small. Like, show me another car that a 15-inch wheel looks big on. So just to give you all a frame of reference of how small this stuff is, because sometimes on camera, it can skew it a little bit. Here we have a, I think this is a Galaxy Note. So this Note is almost the size of this intercooler. This top mount intercooler is tiny. Or this valve cover, that's about 1.5 Galaxy Note 10 lengths. That's how small this valve cover is. Everything on this car is just like condensed. Every single little thing. Have you gotten any contest of speed with other cars?
The only actual...
Out of curiosity, I don't know what you've raised. But
so,
I'm sure that you have.
Only one time ever, and it was with a Dodge Dart. He was from South America, and he said he grew up with Daewoo Ticos. The Daewoo Tico's a 1-liter. So he saw this car and freaked out in his Dodge Dart, and he raced me 4 or 5 times. Not very fast, but I pulled him every time. So there's your answer to that question. It's faster than a 2.4-liter Dodge Dart, for a fact.
Do you want to try to see if it's faster than an NB Miata today?
I would love that. Absolutely love that.
Yeah, because like we were saying, if you're not at higher RPM, it's such a small engine.
Yeah.
It literally needs the RPM. Like, that's the only way you're going to be moving anywhere.
Correct.
Like, that's $7 grand right there. That'd be redlining my car.
And it doesn't sound like it. It doesn't feel like it.
I can hear the turbo. It sounds like a little dentist drill.
It does. Sometimes that off valve will stick, or the factory recirc valve sticks. I don't know why, but it'll start like surging instead of recirc. It sounds amazing. Obviously, it's not great, but it sounds
like
really good. Yes, very good. See, fuel cut. It actually fuel cut at that time.
Probably because it's cold. How fast have you had this thing up to?
160 or 170 kilometers an hour, so
which is
a little over 100.
It's not bad.
No, and it's awesome. But like,
was it tapped out at that point?
It was closing in on like the beginning of redline.
Yeah. I can't get over like how much room there is in this thing. Like,
isn't it weird?
yeah, like
It doesn't seem like there should be as much room as there is.
the Japanese are just.
It's funny though, because you think
They're cool.
like some Kei cars are obviously really compact on the inside. Most of the two-seater stuff is not
like
really made.
cappuccinos and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
but this though is roomy. I mean, it's like legitimately roomy.
It is. This thing is cozy.
This car?
Yeah.
It's roomy. And yeah, it is very cozy.
Like, look at all the. You have like 6 inches of headroom.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that and there's room. Not a whole lot of room under my legs, but there is room under my legs. If I could scoot the seat back like 2 inches, I would like legitimately be more comfy in this than the GTI.
So you have the seat maxed out. Like,
Seat's maxed out.
Oh, that sounds so nice.
you like that? Right on, dude.
Scared that bone.
I love when this bypass valve sticks. That's the best sound in the world. Gotta love compressor surge. Oh my goodness. See, that felt pretty good.
It's not bad, in all honesty.
I feel like that's faster than a stock Miata.
I hope so.
I don't know. What? No, you missed the gear. You were pulling until then. This thing. It's like dead even.
I know.
Holy crap. The old NB is surprising the hell out of me.
Damn.
Hope you guys enjoyed our review today at this little JDM Nugget. I love this little car. I would personally get one if one came up. This thing is super fun. Great little daily driver. And stay tuned for more interesting cars. Thanks so much, guys.